Press the flat of your hand against your belly. Right now, just below your ribs where the soft part begins. Don't suck it in. Don't fix your posture. Just feel it. If you've eaten in the last hour or two, there's a good chance it feels tight, rounded, a little drum-like under your palm. Maybe your waistband became the enemy by mid-afternoon, even though the scale hasn't moved a single pound. You loosen the belt a notch. You tell yourself it's the bread, or the beans, or simply the years. I want to slow down right here, because this is the exact moment most people rush past. That tightness after eating is not random, and for a great many people past 60, it is not what they've been told it is. They've been told it's age. They've been told it's the food. Two answers that sound reasonable, feel final, and quietly send you in the wrong direction for years. Tonight, I want to do something the standard appointment almost never has time for. I want to read your body with you, slowly, one sign at a time. There are 5 signs in particular. Each one tells you a little more, and one of them, the 5th, is the sign that means stop reading the internet and call a doctor this week. We'll get there carefully. Let me start with something you can recognize. Go to almost any online health forum and you'll find the same post written 1,000 different ways. A person in their late 60s describes a belly that is flat and comfortable when they wake up, and swollen tight by the evening. They've cut out gluten, they've cut out dairy, they've tried apple cider vinegar, peppermint tea, and 3 different probiotics from the pharmacy shelf. Nothing holds. And underneath the post, the replies arrive like clockwork. It's just getting older. Everyone bloats. Welcome to your 60s. Helpful in tone. Wrong in substance. Because here is the first myth I want to take apart, and I want to do it with evidence, not opinion. The myth is that bloating after meals is simply what happens as the body ages a slow, vague decline you're supposed to accept. The reality is more specific and far more useful. A 2016 review in Mayo Clinic Proceedings laid out why a condition called small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, we'll call it SIBO for short, becomes more common with age. And the reasons are not you got old. The reasons are mechanical. Stomach acid tends to drop with age, and stomach acid is one of your body's main tools for keeping incoming bacteria in check. The muscular waves that move food through the gut tend to slow, and older adults tend to take more medications, some of which slow the gut further or lower acid on purpose. Read that again, because it changes everything. Age isn't the cause. Age is the setting in which a specific, identifiable, often treatable process becomes more likely. That's a very different sentence. One tells you to give up, the other tells you where to look. If this is already clarifying something you've wondered about for years, share this with someone in your family who keeps saying it's just their age. That's honestly how this channel finds the people who need it. Now let's get into your body. To understand the 5 signs, you need a quick picture of where they come from. Stay with me, this is the part that makes the rest make sense. Your small intestine is long, about 20 feet of it coiled up behind your belly button. This is where most of your food actually gets broken down and absorbed into your blood. And here's the thing most people never learn. Your small intestine is supposed to be a relatively quiet place, bacteria-wise. There are some bacteria there, yes, but compared to what's downstream, it's nearly empty, normally fewer than 100,000 organisms in a single milliliter. Your large intestine, your colon, is the opposite. The colon is packed with bacteria, trillions of them. That's not a problem, that's the design. Bacteria belong down there. Now here's the analogy I want you to hold for the rest of this video, because I've never used it before and it fits this exactly. Picture an airport. Your small intestine is one of those long-moving walkways, the kind that's always gliding forward, designed so nothing ever settles. Your colon, at the far end, is baggage claim, crowded, slow, packed shoulder to shoulder with the bacterial crowd, exactly as it should be. Between your meals, a cleaning wave sweeps the length of that walkway. Doctors call it the migrating motor complex, which is just a fancy name for the housekeeping wave that runs through your gut when it's empty. It sweeps the walkway clear. It keeps the crowd from baggage claim, from drifting upstream onto the walkway where they were never meant to live. So what happens when the walkway slows down? When the belt stops gliding the way it used to? The crowd drifts up. The bacteria from baggage claim start migrating onto the walkway and settling in. And the moment they settle into your small intestine, they do what bacteria do. They feast on the food passing through before your body gets the chance to. They ferment it, and fermentation produces gas, hydrogen, and in some people, a gas called methane. That gas has nowhere to go but to stretch the walls of your small intestine outward. That stretch is the bloat. That is what your hand is feeling under your ribs. So now, with that picture in your mind, let's read the 5 signs. We're going to go in order, from the most common and least worrying to the one that means see a doctor. As we go, I want you to quietly check yourself against each one. Sign 1. The timing is too neat. Ordinary bloating is random. You overdo it at a holiday meal, you feel stuffed, it passes. The bloating I'm describing has a rhythm. It arrives roughly 30 to 90 minutes after you eat, not just after big meals, but after ordinary ones. A normal lunch, a small dinner, and it shows up reliably, like an appointment your body keeps without asking you. Ask yourself this: can you almost predict it? If the answer is yes, if you've started to dread certain hours of the day, that predictability is itself a clue. Random discomfort points one direction. A pattern points another. SIBO tends to make a pattern because the bacteria are responding to the same trigger every time. Food arriving on the walkway where they're now camped. One sign rarely means much on its own. So let's keep reading. Sign 2. The morning to evening climb. This is the one from that forum post, and it's one of the most telling. Many people with this pattern wake up with a belly that is genuinely flat and soft. By late afternoon, it is visibly distended, tight, round, the kind of swelling where people have actually been asked if they're expecting. By bedtime, it's at its worst. And then sleep resets it, and the next morning it's flat again. Look at your own belly tomorrow morning in good light. Really look, not a glance, a look. Then look again at 6 in the evening. If there is a dramatic difference, that climbing curve across the day is a fingerprint. It happens because each meal adds more fuel to the bacteria already living where they shouldn't, and the gas accumulates faster than your body clears it. The longer the day, the bigger the buildup. 2 signs now. Still common, still nothing to panic over. Keep reading. Sign 3. The healthy food betrayal. This one feels almost unfair, and it's the sign that fools the most people. You'd expect junk food to be the trigger. Instead, for someone with bacterial overgrowth, it's often the wholesome foods that hurt the most. Beans, lentils, onions and garlic, apples and pears, broccoli and cauliflower. Whole grains, the exact foods your doctor told you to eat more of. Here's why, and it's beautiful once you see it. Those foods are rich in fermentable carbohydrates. The technical name is FODMAPs, which is simply a group of carbs that bacteria adore. In a normal gut, those carbs travel down to the colon, where the bacterial crowd belongs, and everything is fine. But if bacteria have crept up onto your small intestine walkway, you're now feeding them the instant the food arrives, high up, early, right where they're camped. They ferment it immediately. More gas, sooner, and worse. So you end up in a cruel loop. You eat healthier to fix the bloating. The healthier food feeds the overgrowth. The bloating gets worse. And you conclude, reasonably but wrongly, that your body just can't handle vegetables anymore. This is where I have to demolish a second myth, because so many people are stuck inside it. The myth is that more fiber and more probiotics will fix any bloating. The reality, supported by the research on fermentable carbohydrates and gut symptoms, is that when bacteria are overgrown in the wrong place, certain high fermentation fibers and certain probiotic strains can pour fuel on the fire instead of putting it out. I'm not telling you fiber is bad. Fiber is wonderful for most people, most of the time. I'm telling you that if every gut-healthy thing you try makes you worse, that paradox is itself a sign worth taking to a doctor. 3 signs. Notice we're still describing discomfort, not danger. But the next sign starts to raise the stakes. Sign 4. The company the bloating keeps. By itself, a bloated belly is uncomfortable. But pay attention to what travels with it. When bacteria overgrow in the small intestine, they don't just make gas. They start intercepting your nutrients before you can absorb them, eating your food before you do, in that moving walkway space where absorption is supposed to happen. The Cleveland Clinic describes exactly this. SIBO can interfere with your ability to digest and absorb nutrients from food. So watch for the companions, a heaviness that comes with unusual fatigue, Loose stools, or the opposite, and this is a real clue, bloating paired with constipation specifically, which a 2020 review on SIBO and irritable bowel syndrome links to the methane-producing type of overgrowth. Watch for the slow creep of feeling run down in a way that food and rest don't fix. Mayo Clinic's own description notes that the excess bacteria can break down the bile salts you need to digest fats and can compete with you for vitamins, which over time can leave you low on things like vitamin B12. Here's the honest line though. Every one of those companions can come from a dozen other causes too. Fatigue is not proof of anything. I'm not handing you a diagnosis I can't, and no honest person on a screen can. What I'm showing you is a cluster. The timing, plus the daily climb, plus the healthy food paradox, plus these companions, together start to paint a picture that's worth a real conversation with a real clinician. One thread means little. The weave means something. 4 signs. Now the 5th. And the 5th is different. Sign 5. The bloating that breaks its own rules. Everything I've described so far follows the food. It comes after meals, it climbs across the day, it answers to what you eat, and it resets overnight. That pattern, as miserable as it is usually about function. The walkway slowing, the crowd creeping up. The 5th sign is when the bloating stops following those rules. So listen closely now, because this is the most important 90 seconds of this entire video. If your bloating is constant rather than tied to meals and steadily getting worse week after week, that's different. If it comes with unintended weight loss you didn't try for. If you see blood in your stool, or stools that are black and tarry, if you feel full after just a few bites, when you used to be able to eat a normal plate, if there's persistent vomiting, trouble swallowing, severe or one-sided pain, a hard lump you can feel, or a new and deep fatigue with paleness, these are not signs to research as SIBO. These are signs to see a doctor promptly, this week, in person. I'm going to be very direct with you, because you deserve directness. In adults past 60, a new, persistent, worsening bloating that comes with any of those red flags can occasionally be the body signaling something serious in the digestive system or the ovaries, something that has nothing to do with bacterial overgrowth and everything to do with needing examination now. The whole reason I walked you through the gentle signs first is so you can tell the difference. Functional bloating follows the food. The bloating that needs a doctor breaks the pattern. If you're sitting there recognizing the 5th sign rather than the first 4, please don't finish this video and move on. Make the call. Bring someone with you to the appointment if you can. And one more piece of honesty for everyone, no matter which signs fit. Do not start or stop any medication on your own based on a video. If you take a daily acid-reducing pill, the kind ending in prazole, it may be relevant to this conversation, because lowering stomach acid long-term can make overgrowth more likely. But you do not stop it on your own. You bring it to your doctor and decide together. Stopping some medications abruptly causes its own problems. The goal is a smarter conversation, not a solo experiment. Now let me give you something to actually do, because understanding without action just becomes worry. I want to give you a self-test you can run starting today, with nothing but your own attention. Here is the morning and evening reading. For 1 week, do 3 small things. First, each morning, before you eat, notice your belly flat or already full. Second, each evening, notice it again, and ask whether it climbed across the day. Third, keep a plain notebook by the kitchen. Write down the time you ate, what you ate, and the time any bloating began. Just the facts. Times in words is fine. No need to measure anything. After 7 days, you'll be holding something most doctors never get to see. A clear map of your own pattern. You'll know whether the timing is neat. You'll know whether the climb is real. You'll know whether the wholesome foods are the betrayers. And this matters. You'll know whether your bloating follows the food or breaks the rules. When you bring that notebook to your appointment, here's the weekly checklist that turns it into a useful conversation. Ask your doctor whether a breath test makes sense for you. It's a simple, non-invasive test where you breathe into a tube after a sugary drink, and a rapid rise in hydrogen or methane can suggest overgrowth. Mayo Clinic notes it's widely available, though not perfect, so your doctor weighs it alongside your story. Ask whether any of your current medications could be slowing your gut or lowering your acid. Ask whether there's an underlying reason your gut's housekeeping wave might have slowed conditions, like an underactive thyroid or diabetes can do that, and treating the root often matters more than chasing the symptom. And here's what not to do. Don't buy a stack of antibiotics or an internet SIBO protocol and run an experiment on yourself. Even when overgrowth is real, the right treatment depends on which type you have and what's driving it underneath. And the Cleveland Clinic is blunt that if you don't fix the underlying cause, it simply comes back. This is a problem you solve with a partner who can test, not alone in the supplement aisle. I want to return for a moment to that hand on your belly from the start, because I think the deepest thing I can give you tonight isn't a list of signs. It's permission to stop blaming yourself. So many people past 60 have quietly decided their own body has become unreliable, that they can't eat anything anymore, that this is just the toll of the years and there's nothing to be done. And what I want you to carry away is that a bloated belly after every meal is information, not a verdict. It might be SIBO. It might be something simpler. It might, in a small number of people, be something that needs attention now. But just your age is almost never the real, complete answer, and it's the one answer that leaves you helpless. The walkway can be helped. The wave can be supported. The crowd can be moved back to where it belongs. Not by a video, by a conversation that finally asks the right question. Before you go, do something for me that genuinely shapes what I make next. Tell me your age in the comments. Are you in your 60s, your 70s, your 80s? Because some of these mechanisms shift as the decades go on, and I want to know exactly who's listening tonight so the next one fits you better. And tell me where you're watching from, too. It helps more than you'd think. If you read these 5 signs and recognized your own afternoons in them, you are not imagining it, and you are not just getting old. You're paying attention. That attention is the first real step anyone takes toward feeling better, and tonight, you took it. Take that notebook seriously this week. Take the 5th sign seriously if it's yours, and give your body the benefit of a real question instead of an old assumption. I'll see you in the next one.